Hey, I want to kind of go through a sampling of the nutty stuff that happened over this weekend with Republicans. None of these clips that I'm going to play for you is sort of worthy of its own story, but sometimes it's just stunning how much absurdity the American right gets into over a 48-hour weekend that I want to just give you like a little bit of a tour through the bonkers universe of the American right. So let's just look at a couple of things real quick. Melania Trump was given an award by the Log Cabin Republicans called the Spirit of Lincoln Award. And Melania gave a speech with a teleprompter, of course, even though Trump and the right hates teleprompters when Obama uses them. And it's just all very weird.
I amplified legislation and created awareness campaigns that elevated important issues such as foster care, sickle cell disease, social-emotional learning techniques, and neonatal abstinence syndrome.
So just everything is so weird. It's hard to even know what the hell is going on with these strange awards that they hand each other. So that was Melania. Roger Stone, former guest on this show, convicted, pardoned. Okay, you know Roger Stone. Roger Stone appeared on Alex Jones's Infowars and said Infowars is what you can trust for the truth.
Infowars is a beacon of freedom. That's why Infowars can always be counted on for the truth. You can always go to Infowars.com and find out what is really going on.
Yeah. Now, if you're curious about Roger Stone, check out the time I interviewed him. The big kind of weird story with that was up until about 30 seconds before the interview, you could hear him in the background trying to get out of the interview. And then he sat down and did the interview. Just an odd guy. And now this connection between, I mean, this guy was a Trump, really a Trump, as close to a friend as Trump ever had. Now, just openly saying Infowars is the source that you have to trust. Senator Josh Hawley, one of the inciters of the January 6th insurrection, did a very strange sit-down interview with Axios. And he went on a rant about the left attacking manhood, and he criticized video games and porn. Just strange. Take a look.
What's a man to you? Paint a picture.
What's a man? Well, a man is a father, a man is a husband, a man is somebody who takes responsibility. As conservatives, we've got to call men back to responsibility. We've got to say that spending your time not working, and we have more and more men who are not working, spending your time on video games, spending your time watching porn online while doing nothing is not good for you, your family, or this country.
So a viewer's watching this and they're thinking, really? What the liberals are doing are going to push me to watch Pornhub more or play Donkey Kong more? Do you mean that literally?
Well, what I mean literally is that I think the liberal attack, the left-wing attack on manhood says to men, you're part of the problem. It says that your masculinity is inherently problematic. It's inherently oppressive.
What a weird interview. And continued right-wing obsession with these caricatures of what I guess they see as the alpha male and the beta male, and a very unusual rant, I guess. I'm struggling to even find the words for it for a sitting senator to go on, but video games and porn, that's beta in the mind, I guess, of what Josh Hawley sees as manhood. Many anti-mask and anti-vax protests continuing over the weekend, not just in the United States, but in other countries, as we will soon see. Here's one from the U.S. Here is a picture of just one woman holding a sign that says masks are child abuse, which they're not. Masks are physical and psychological abuse, but psychological is misspelled on this woman's mask. So that's something. In a completely, I know I used this term last week, in another one of these Kafka-esque moments, here is Cancun Cruz, Republican Senator Ted Cruz, attacking John Kerry for flying to the climate conference last week on a private jet. And he points out, none of us have private jets. And then someone says, actually, Ted, Rob Portman does have a private jet. Take a look at this.
John Kerry has a private jet that has flown dozens of times this past year all around the country. I don't know about you, but I don't have a private jet. I don't believe any of the people on this stage have their own private jet.
Portman does. Yeah. Small one.
So, one of the issues with making this personal is you might have someone up on the stage where the personal makes you look like a hypocrite. And of course, the bigger issue is how much should we be talking about private jet use in thinking about climate? And as I talked about last week, the people that have the private jets are going to keep having the private jets. Let's get them off of fossil fuels and into renewables. That would be my preference. And of course, the vast majority of carbon emissions are not coming from aviation at all, never mind from private jets. I mentioned it last week. And then here's an Australian anti-mask, anti-vax guy who's listing all of the things he doesn't do. And hilariously, he says he doesn't satanize his hands. Instead of sanitize, it's satanize. This is wild.
I'm 60 years old. I don't socially distance. I never wore a mask during the whole lockdown. I always go to the supermarket as much as I like. I don't sterilise my hands or satanize them. I just live normally and naturally, just like I've always done. Of course, from time to time, like anybody else, I might get ill. And if I do, I go to bed, I have some honey and lemon tea, and I sweat it out, and then I recover. This is the way everyone should live. And I'm not against medicine, but I think medicine has taken too far. We have too much trust in.
Yes, the satanization of hands. That's really something else. So a wild weekend in right-wing la-la land, it's more scary than funny. You know, individually, we might look at a clip and we might say, oh, that actually is pretty funny. And we would be right to say it's funny. But the big picture is there is an entire movement, not just in the United States, but globally to some degree. We've seen it in Europe, we see it in Australia, et cetera, certainly here in the U.S. An entire movement based on not just ignorance, but pride in ignorance, pride in non-thinking, pride in rejecting empiricism and science. And that's a really, really bad thing.